Pope hopes to bring Andrija Jelavić to campus ASAP. And when this guy arrives, it's going to be scary. He's a top recruit who can help this roster. Let's get to the Cats news. The anticipation surrounding Andrija Jelavic's arrival at Kentucky basketball is a clear sign that the program is building something special with Mark Pope. Although he hasn't yet arrived in Lexington, the Croatian wing's potential impact is already being felt in the minds of fans and the coach's strategy. With solid professional experience and a versatile player profile, Jelavić has everything it takes to become a key player on the roster for the 2025-26 season. And, even with some bureaucratic and academic hurdles still to overcome, Pope's eagerness to integrate the young athlete into the group reflects an optimistic outlook on the near future. At 21, he has years of experience playing at a high level in the Adriatic League, facing mature opponents and competing in high-pressure situations. This experience, combined with his versatility on the court, makes him a player ready to contribute significantly from the start, averaging impressive 10.7 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 1.6 assists per game in his final season for Mega Supet. It's clear that Jelavić isn't just a raw talent, but someone who already understands the intricacies of competitive basketball. For a college team like Kentucky, that's golden. Mark Pope recognizes this maturity and believes Jelavić can make the transition to college basketball without too many bumps. He's a veteran, Pope said during the press conference. This seemingly simple statement carries significant weight. Not every recruit arrives with that label, especially in an environment as competitive as Kentucky basketball. The coach sees Jelavić not only as a talented player, but also as a natural leader, someone who can bring stability and consistency to a team seeking to reaffirm its position on the national stage. However, before Jelavić can don the uniform and begin working with his new teammates, there are important steps to be taken. The academic process, inherent to the adaptation of any international student, requires patience and attention to detail. Pope emphasized that the player has completed his classes abroad and is now moving on to the next phase of this journey. Despite the temporary limitations that prevent Jelavić from officially training with the team, the coach remains focused on the ultimate goal, having the player available as soon as possible, so he can begin to absorb the program's culture and working methods. This wait, while inevitable, does not diminish the enthusiasm surrounding what Jelavić can offer. His ability to score, rebound, and distribute the ball places him in a privileged position within Pope's game plan. His athletic ability promises to wreak havoc on both defense and offense. On a team seeking to balance youth and experience, Jelavić, it emerges as a player who can bridge these two extremes, elevating the overall level of the squad. Another relevant aspect is the fact that Jelavić is training at home while awaiting clearance to travel to the United States. This demonstrates commitment and dedication, qualities that will certainly be valued in Kentucky's highly competitive environment. When he finally steps onto campus, he will be physically prepared to face the challenges ahead. Jelavic's arrival also sends a clear message about Mark Pope's recruiting philosophy. He's not just looking for talented players, but also athletes who can fit the identity he wants to build for the program. A player with professional experience, a winning mentality, and a willingness to learn is exactly the kind of player Pope needs to lead Kentucky back to the top. The trust placed in Jelavić reflects this strategic vision, which seeks to balance the present and future of Kentucky basketball. As fans eagerly await Jelavic's debut in blue and white, it's impossible not to imagine the impact he could make. Once he's on the court, his trajectory thus far suggests he won't just be another name on the roster, but rather a player who can greatly enhance the Cats squad. This news has stirred BBN's excitement about the rescheduling of the official visit of Caleb Holt, one of the most coveted prospects in the class of 2026. For the weekend of September 12th to 14th, the young point guard, ranked as the 5th best high school player by the Rivals industry rankings, demonstrates not only exceptional talent, but also a special connection with the Kentucky program, rekindling hopes that the team's future is in promising hands. Holt, an Alabama native, postponed his visit originally scheduled for September 5th to 7th, a move that, according to sources close to the player, was motivated by convenience for him and his family. This flexibility demonstrates the maturity of the young athlete, who already has a reputation as a leader on and off the court. During the Adidas 3 SSB Championship in Rock Hill, South Carolina, Holt shone brightly, leading Game Elite to the title. With impressive averages of 18.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 2 steals per game. These numbers not only reflect his versatility, but also his ability to impact the game in multiple facets, a trait that makes him one of the top recruiting targets in the country. What makes the relationship between Holt and Kentucky even more intriguing is the bond already established with Mark Pope. During a USA basketball training camp, Holt had the opportunity to be coached by Pope, an experience he described as really fun. According to the player himself, Pope encouraged him to play with freedom, promising that this dynamic and engaging style is what fans can expect from Kentucky. Kentucky is definitely in contention. At the top, Holt stated, making it clear that the program is among his priorities. The mutual trust between player and coach is a promising sign, especially considering Pope's ability to connect with young talent and convey a vision of collective success. Holt's comparison to current Kentucky player Otega Oweh reveals a lot about his own playing style and ambitions. "I like Otega," Holt said. "He's a three-point shooter. He can hit threes. He can hit mid-range shots. Mid-range is his bread and butter, and he can get to the basket." This self-assessment as a bigger point guard with versatile skills aligns perfectly with Pope's system, which values athletes capable of creating opportunities and making an impact both offensively and defensively. The possibility of Holt bringing this combination of size, skill, and instinct to Lexington is undoubtedly a reason for optimism for fans. While Kentucky is one of the favorites in the race for Holt's commitment, the competition is fierce. Programs like Alabama, Auburn, Houston, Baylor, Providence, Ole Miss, and Kansas are in the running, with Holt already having official visits scheduled to Alabama October 3rd to 5th and Auburn October 10th to 12th. The young point guard's decision, which he plans to make in January or February after observing his top teams during the 2025-26 season, will be a milestone for the future of whichever program lands his talent. However, the fact that Holt chose to postpone his visit to Kentucky while keeping the date on the calendar suggests that Lexington holds a special place on his list. Mark Pope's tenure with the Wildcats has been marked by a strategic approach. 2. Recruiting, focused on attracting players who combine creative talent with the right mindset to thrive in Kentucky's high-pressure environment. The personal connection he has already established with Holt is a testament to his ability to build meaningful relationships that can make all the difference for this team. Hardley Gilmore's return to Kentucky is one of those stories that reinforces the value of a true sports home. In the world of college football, where transfers and sudden changes are increasingly common, seeing a player return to the program that welcomed him from the beginning has something special. And in Gilmore's case, that feeling is amplified by his youth, his potential, and the way he was welcomed back with open arms. When he arrived at Kentucky in 2024, Hardley Gilmore was already considered a diamond in the rough. A top recruit from Florida, he drew attention for his height and natural ability to excel as a wide receiver. However, fate intervened early on. A broken collarbone during his first offseason sidelined him for the first 5 games of the season. Upon his return, he showed flashes of the talent that brought him to Lexington. In just 7 games, he accumulated 153 receiving yards, averaging an impressive 25.5 yards per reception, and had 1 touchdown. These numbers not only confirmed his potential but also left fans eager to see what he could do with more continuity. However, the unexpected happened. In December, Gilmore entered his name in the transfer portal and quickly announced his decision to transfer to Nebraska. Along with other well-known names like Ncaa and former Kentucky wide receivers coach Da'Keil Shorts, it seemed Gilmore was ready to start a new chapter in his career. But, as often happens in the world of sports, things don't always go as planned. In early April, the surprising news came. Nebraska head coach Matt Rhule announced that Gilmore had been released from the program. Without further explanation, the young wide receiver then found his way back to Kentucky, a return that was celebrated by everyone in the program. "Hardley is a great young man," said Wildcats head coach Mark Stoops during SEC Media Days. "I don't want to speak for him, but I think he's already stated publicly that maybe he didn't really want to leave. Sometimes things happen that I don't need to mention or speak for him, but I've always had a strong relationship with Hardley, and he has with our coaching staff." Stoops' tone was compassionate and understanding, reflecting the spirit of the program itself. Rather than creating controversy or questions about his brief time away, the focus is on supporting Gilmore and integrating him back into the team. And, apparently, that has been done successfully. According to the coach, the young wide receiver returned as if he'd never been away, fitting perfectly into the group's dynamic and demonstrating a renewed commitment to improvement. From a strictly football perspective, having Gilmore back is a huge boost for the Wildcats offense. He's still very young, but he's already showing promising development. His combination of speed, ability to gain yards after the catch, and ability to make big plays makes him a valuable weapon in an offense led by quarterback Zach Calzada. Furthermore, the arrival of Lodamian Washington as the new wide receivers coach brings a fresh perspective to the group, and Gilmore appears to be making the most of this opportunity. With the roster still being developed, Gilmore has the chance to establish himself as one of the team's top wide receivers in 2025. The competition will be fierce, especially with other talents arriving. But his experience, even if brief, and his pre-existing connection with the coaching staff could give him a significant advantage, more than numbers or projections. However, Hardley Gilmore's return to Kentucky is a story about second chances and the value of belonging. He's a young man still figuring out his place in the world of football, and Kentucky seems to be exactly the right environment for that. I'm excited to see how he and football perform this year. Let me know what you think.